Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. We're just gonna jump into this video. I don't know why, I just feel like the urge to just start, like just do this video. So we're just gonna jump right into this video. I'm going to be showing you guys my updated new everyday makeup routine for spring. So yeah, let's get started. So I always start with my hair clipped back, and I always start with like a moisturizer or just something to keep my skin hydrated underneath, because I feel like if I don't use a moisturizer, the makeup looks like cakey and you can see my pores really well. So I already moisturized my face. I use CeraVe. So I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. primer, and I just put it all over my face. I usually apply this with a brush, but I don't even know where it is, so we're not gonna worry about that today. But yeah, I just apply this all over my face. This is the grip primer and it is very sticky, but I love how long my makeup lasts when I use it. And I also like to make sure that I get really good under my eyes, because that's where I get a lot of my creasing, and literally all over your face other than your lips. I'm not really big on eyeshadow, so I don't put it on my eyelids, but if you are big on eyeshadow, I would use it on your eyelids. And so I always want to use this for just moisturizer because it makes your skin look so good. Okay, so first things first, I always start with my eyebrows. I am like having a really bad eyebrow month, so I kind of make them a little bit thicker than what they are because I'm growing them out, so I have hairs all over the place. But I like to start with my eyebrows, so I start with my eyebrow pencil, and I like to go in like hair-like strokes, like really light, and just with the hairs. And I always, like, I don't try to make it too perfect because we're gonna clean it up anyway. So I also like to go in like closer to, I don't even know what this part of my face is called, but closer to like the inside, because I like eyebrows that kind of go in farther. That's why my eyebrow hairs are so crazy right now, because I'm trying to grow them out in here. My eyebrows is the part that takes the longest because I like for them to match, and that's so hard for me to do. So my eyebrows definitely take me the longest. I don't know why, but this eyebrow always comes out thicker than that one. So I always just clean my right eyebrow up with my finger, just so it can match. I don't know why it always comes out like that. I always clean the top with my fingers because I don't like to clean the top of the brows with concealer, because then it comes out looking kind of boxy and I don't like that look. So then I use my NYX brow gel. I like to use the tinted gel, and this is the one in brown or medium brown. And I recently dyed my hair jet black, so I really should be using black, but we're gonna use brown today. But then I just kind of brush through and make sure to do, like, I don't want my brows to like stick straight up like those soap brows, but I want them to kind of like, you know, like go in a certain direction. It also makes, when you do that, it makes the like hair-like strokes from the pencil, like it makes it look more realistic. I don't like the way this looks though, so I'm gonna like clean that up a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, they look kind of crazy right now, but we're gonna clean them up. So I like to use the end of this little container and just clean them up a little bit more so it's like a more perfect line, and the brows or in the hairs are like, I don't know, I can't find the right words. They just look more uniformed, I guess. Yeah. So then I like to go in with my foundation to clean up my brows, and then a flat brush. I don't like to use my concealer to clean up my brows because my concealer is much lighter than me. And I don't know. I don't like that light look underneath your brows. I just want it to look very natural. We're going for like a natural beat, but also like it's full coverage, but it's like it's a natural beat. Just like that. And I think also when you leave the top kind of like imperfect, it makes it look so much more natural. I just really hate cleaning up the top of your brows. That's just not my thing. And I just put a tiny bit, not that much, on my eyelids. And then we're just gonna blend it all out with this little brush. This is a Real Techniques eyeshadow brush. But we're just gonna blend it all out. And this NARS foundation is full coverage, but it just has a really good way of still making it look very skin-like. And that's what I like about it too, is it almost feels thinner than it almost feels a little bit thinner than the NARS concealer, which is why I like to use it to clean up my brows and on my eyes, because I don't want a lot of thick product on my eyes. And then in the middle, I like to just go really light. Like I said, I don't like the boxy look. So instead of just like blending straight up and down to make it boxy, I blend like in and out. So that way that line there is not a perfect line, if that makes sense. And then I just do it really lightly, almost to the point where there's not even any product in between my two brows. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my Makeup Revolution banana powder and a Morphe eyeshadow brush, and I'm just gonna very lightly, like very lightly, I don't want a lot of this at all, just get a little bit of this powder and then just sweep underneath my brows. I'm very oily in like certain parts of my face, and underneath my brows is one of those places. So if I don't set this area, it's gonna look like really shiny and really cakey in like a few hours. Okay, now the fun part. So we're gonna go in with this Morphe, I think this is actually a concealer. This is a concealer, but I like to use concealers for my bronzer and just get it a few shades darker than me. So I'm gonna go in and put a little on the edge of my eyes, my eyelids, not my eyes. And then I'm just going to put it everywhere that I like to contour. I try not to do too much on my nose because this stuff spreads like crazy, and I don't like to over contour my nose. But just pretty much everywhere that you would put your bronzer. Like I said, this stuff spreads like crazy, so very small markings is enough. Are you trying to keep up with like the terminology in the makeup community, but I don't know. But I think this is underpainting because we are going to put our foundation on top of this. So I think this is underpainting. But then I'm going to go in with the NARS concealer. And I'm going to put this all under my eyes. And this concealer is kind of like, you have to just know how to work with this concealer. You have to let it sit there for a little while and then blend it out. And you can't just like dab, dab, dab. Like you need to spread it exactly where you want it to go and then let it sit. It's really weird, but she works. She works really well if you know how to use it, but you just have to be very patient with this concealer. So while that sits, we're gonna set this, what's the name? We're gonna set this bronzer. So I like to use this brush. I like to use like a really dense brush for this so that I have more control of where it's going. But yeah, just very controlled, very controlled movements. And then right in here, I just like to push in. Like I'm not moving this at all because like I said, this stuff is just really harsh. I am not moving it at all. It's gonna look absolutely insane until we add our foundation, but just trust the process. And then the same up here, but like I said, back into the hairline. This will all look a lot better in a minute. Okay, now for the nose and the eyes, I like to use this eyeshadow brush. And I go to my eyes first because this has way more product on it. And I don't want to blend my nose first and then bring all that product up here. So I want to blend out my eyes first and foremost. I'm going to try not to touch my concealer, but I kind of put it too close. But literally just blending it out like it is an eyeshadow and keeping it on the outer corner of my eyes. Okay, my camera overheated, but yes, so we are going to just blend it. I already did this side because I just didn't want it to sit there, but I just blend it out like it is eyeshadow. Right in here, I feel like I already know. I think I put way too much, so I'm just gonna try and blend this out the best way I can. Just up and down, up and down. I'm not gonna go all the way up in here because I just put way too much, so it's a little bit harsh. I'm just gonna lightly blend down, and then we'll just deal with this later after we put the foundation on. We're gonna go in with this Morphe Setting Mist, and I like to use this on my beauty blender so it is a little moist. We are just gonna blend out our concealer, which it shouldn't really move around too much. It's already kind of sat in place. So we're really just blending out like the edges, and then I'm just gonna drag it out. That way too, it kind of pulls that, I don't know why I keep forgetting this word. That way it kind of just pulls out that bronzer as well. And then just blend the ends. So yeah. Okay, so we look crazy, so let's go ahead and get some foundation on. We're gonna go in with the NARS. I don't even know which one this is. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I haven't tried any of the other ones, but I have been tempted. I've seen like some videos with some girls using some other NARS foundations, and it looks really good. And I kind of want one that's a little bit more lightweight than this for like every day. So we will be looking into that. But I like to put it on my hand. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. But I like to put it on my hand and then get my foundation brush and then just kind of like dip. Well, I guess that's why, because I like to do kind of like an airbrush effect, like just really light and just like drag it. And even though this is underpainting, I'm not going to just completely like cover it with foundation. I'm going to kind of be strategic about where I'm putting my foundation and then just lightly swipe when I get closer to the bronzer. But this stuff is just, it's so lightweight and full coverage that you really only need like one pass. And I mean, you can see for yourself, it looks really good. And then I do like to make sure I get where I ended like around the edges where my concealer is, just for that extra coverage. And then the same up here. And get it as close as I can to my eyebrows. And then I just blend it up and out when I get to the bronzer. That's why I really like this brush, because it's angled. So I can kind of like use the end to really like sweep and get close without messing it up. And so now we're going to go in on the nose. I always put foundation over the bronzer around my nose because it's a lot. And like I said, I really don't like to like do too much with my nose. And honestly, even when you cover it up all the way with the foundation, you can still see the contour underneath. So it works for me. Okay, I had to change my lighting, so hopefully you don't see much of a difference, but one of my lights is just really giving me a hard time. So I don't even remember what I was saying. But I'm just going to blend everything. I also like to do this because I have like my nose creases right in here, and that bothers me if I don't blend it in right here as well. But the first thing I like to do before I do anything else after my foundation is wipe my lips off. I hate having foundation on my lips. Okay, so now I'm going to set my under eyes. I can already kind of see it's trying to crease, so I like to hurry up and get that done first. So I'm going in with my Makeup Revolution powder, but this time instead of the banana powder, I like to do the translucent powder under my eyes, so I have more of like a bright under eye kind of look. So I'm gonna go in with this like little triangle, little floof thing. I get a bunch of these from Shein. It came with like 30 of these, 30 beauty blenders. It came with a ton, and it was like $5. So I get them from there. I don't know if this is considered baking or just setting, but yeah, that's what we're doing. I also like to make sure that when I get close to my nose, that's why I like using this, because it has a straight angle on it. So when I get close to my nose, I'm very intentional about putting it like in a perfectly straight line. So that way when I come back in with my bronzer, my powder bronzer, it's a lot easier to just get that perfect line when contouring. You can just see how flawless that makes it look. It looks so good. And now we're gonna go in with the powder bronzer. This is the Morphe one. I've had it for so long. It looks really, really bad, but she still works. So we're gonna keep using her. And then I just go in with a fluffy brush. And then I like to tap it off so there's not a lot of excess. Because like I said, bronzer can get really out of hand if you don't know what you're doing. So just be very careful with it. But again, just pushing it in. I don't like to sweep with bronzer. I like to know exactly where it's going. Pushing it in. I do like to use a lot of bronzer, I'm not gonna lie. I love like a warm look. And I do like to go a little crazy with the bronzer on the top. I just love a nice bronzed forehead. I don't know what it is, but it just always looks good. All into the hairline, literally everywhere. And then we have our nose. Now this part, I like to get that same brush that we used for our eyes. And then tap, tap, tap. And then just lightly, I mean ever so lightly, it almost feels like it's not even touching me. And I just go in. And obviously if you want a more contoured nose, just use more. I think I'm just so traumatized from when I used to contour my nose so hard in the past. I do not ever want to look like that again. So yeah, I'm taking the traumatized route and just like barely touching my nose. And then I definitely just make sure I contour on the ends real good into that V shape like that. You can see it's still contoured, but I don't want to do too much with my nose. Then I have this brush. It's kind of like a kabuki brush. I like to use this as just a blender. So I always just like to blend it out. But with this part, I never just like blend. I just always go from the bottom of the bronzer and then blend up, never down. You never want to drag your bronzer down because it's going to drag your whole face down. And then everything else, just blend it into place. So just tapping. Mainly what we're focusing on is the blend lines, because you have where your bronzer is, you have where your concealer is, but there's always going to be like that harsh line. So you just want to tap where that line is to blend everything in. So after that, I like to get my foundation brush that we use for the foundation. No extra product, just whatever's left on the brush. And I just like to sweep to clean it up. Right there at the base, it just adds a more defined line. And you see it gave me more bone structure. And then blend down. So you're gonna sweep and then blend down. You can just see even from the front, like it's giving that look. So we're gonna go back in with our triangle. I don't know what this is called. A little fluffer thing, I don't know. But we're gonna go back in with this again, no product, and then just tap on top, just for that extra coverage. Security. Okay, we're almost done, I swear. But okay, so we're gonna go in for our blush. I absolutely love blush. It's my favorite part of the makeup routine. And this is the NARS, which one is this? This is the NARS Exhibit A blush. Love, love, love it. And then I'm just using a Morphe blush brush. I don't know which one this is. M527. And so you have to do things very strategically in the makeup world for things to go right. So I like to, like, this sounds so stupid, but like get it like this. It does make a difference, okay? But I just like to get it on my brush like this. Always tap with powder if you have excess. There's always excess powder, so you always want to tap. And then with your blush, you always want to go in circular motions and out like that. I like for my blush to kind of come in a little bit farther than our bronzer. And it does help if you smile. Like that. And then, of course, I'm a blending queen. We gotta blend it out, because I just don't like things to look like too harsh. Okay, so this would be the part that I would put my lashes on. if I were to wear lashes or put mascara on, but I have lash extensions on right now. I might do a video with my lashless makeup routine, because if I don't have extensions on, why can't I say that word? If I don't have extensions on, I'm just like really wanting to just do mascara. I've become a hater of lash strips, so yeah, but I have lash extensions on, so we don't really have to focus on that. I am gonna blend this out just a little bit more. I still have some concealer on here. So now that we are done with this, I usually don't do too much with my eyes unless I'm like going out. Or want to like add a little extra pizzazz or something. But I don't really do like liner, none of that for real. Not like my everyday makeup routine, especially when I have lash extensions, because there's kind of no point. So I'm gonna jump right into my highlighter. This is the Milani highlighter. It's really, really good. It's better than some more high-end highlighters in my opinion, and it's very affordable. I'm just gonna get a little bit of that on my fan brush and then just hit the points of my face that I want highlighted. So the tip of my nose, most definitely. And then I also like to turn the brush from this way to that way, and then just go like straight down the middle. That kind of gives it more of a contoured look as well, without having to do a whole bunch of bronzer. And then just right on top of that blush as well. This is like a very 2016 makeup routine. I don't know, that era I thrived in, so why switch it up if it works for you? So I'm gonna set my face. I usually use this one size. I absolutely love the setting spray, but I am out. I don't think I can get anything else. Well, let me try anything else out of here. I hear something, but I don't think it's gonna come out. There's literally nothing coming out. So today I'm gonna use this Morphe setting mist, but this is actually, I learned this recently, this is actually for while you're using your makeup, like in between, to keep things moist and like be able to move things around. This is really not a setting spray that holds your makeup once you're done with it, but for the sake of this, we're just gonna use it today. So after this, I like to use my mascara for my bottom lashes. I remember that trend where the girls were saying like, try your makeup without mascara on your bottom lashes. I never got with that trend. That's never been my thing. I always love to put mascara on my bottom lashes. It just opens your eyes up more and it just looks better. It looks a lot better. But this is what we're working with now. So I like to use, I'm not really picky about what mascara I use because this is just for my bottom lashes, but this is the Maybelline Great Lash. I've heard this is one of the good ones. So yeah, like I said, I'm not picky. As long as when I put on my mascara, it doesn't do that thing where it like bleeds down and then like leaves marks on your concealer, because I don't know what that's about, but I've found so many mascaras that do that to me and it makes me so mad. So this one doesn't do that, so this is why I like this one. And I always do 2 coats because I just like a really defined bottom lash. Okay, there we go. I don't even know if you can really tell the difference on camera, but you can definitely tell the difference in person. Okay, and we're almost done, I swear. But last thing is we're gonna do our lips. So I have a signature everyday lip look that I do. So we're gonna go in with these 3 products. So I like to use the NYX matte lip liner in the Mason color. And then I use this e.l.f. lip gloss. That is the Jam Session. It's so hard to read this. I think it's Jam Session. And then on top of all that, I like to use the NYX Madeline. And when I tell you, this is the best lip combo I've ever found for myself. I've had the hardest time figuring out one that's like perfect for me, that I can wear every day. This is it. So I'm just gonna line my lips with this liner. I also have double lined lips. So at the top, I like to do like points instead of M's. Well, I guess they're both M's. I like to do a pointy M instead of a rounded M. And then I had to learn this, like, it took me so long because there's nobody out there that will actually teach you how to line double line lips. So at the top, you want to, like, you know, go where you're supposed to go. And then when you get to the sides, you want to underline your lips. So a little bit under the line. It works, trust me, and it looks so good. And then the same for underneath if you have double line under as well. And then we're gonna go in with the e.l.f. Just right on top. I also use this to kind of blend out the liner just a little bit. And then that makes it look really dark. So I might do like a lip like this for like dinner or going out or something like that. But for like every day during the day and stuff, that's why I like to use this NYX, because it brightens it up a little bit. If I can open it. And I also like it because it's not matte. Like I don't know how people do it. I can't do matte. I can't do matte all day. Just like I put this on top. Just like that. Okay, so that is pretty much my entire makeup routine for my everyday makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. And you might as well subscribe to my channel because we're besties now. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.